let us talk about the Cleveland Browns. Cleveland Browns lost to the Bengals. Cleveland Browns are 1-6. It is largely to blame on Deshaun Watson. His old nasty ass had been the worst quarterback in the NFL. And then this weekend, Deshaun Watson appeared to tear his Achilles. And I have to say, I saw a replay of it. Now, if you guys know me, you know I don't do the injury replays. I don't really see the point. Like, I don't need to diagnose it in real time, any of that stuff. That's not what I do, okay? I saw that one, and that is the only time that I've seen somebody tear an Achilles and I felt like I saw it. Like, you saw the way his foot came down, and it was like, ooh, there's no question what happened here. And I hate being TV doctor. Hate it.
It was like you were saying, it's the first one where I really saw that calf ripple that they talk about with the Achilles. Like, I saw it clear as day.
Yeah, I was like, oh, he's done, right? So he's on the ground, and the people booed when he was down on the ground, and it's a tricky thing to me, right? And the reason I say that it's tricky, this is actually very interesting. Remember I talked about I don't know who invented booing, but nothing maps to the emotion one-to-one quite like booing, right? Like the sound of the boo and what the booer feels is a direct relationship, like straight to the point with the boo. But a lot of people took umbrage with the booing that took place, but the opposite of the boo is the cheer. And I argue that cheering the guy when he got hurt is far worse. In fact, I'm making the argument that booing when he's hurt doesn't make any sense. Any sense whatsoever. You should boo when a good player gets hurt. You're sad about that fact. I mean, honestly, you need to be glad that they wasn't out there popping champagne like a championship game. Happy as they were that he wasn't going to be in the game. So anyway, Watson's on the ground. There are larger discussions to be had. I'll wait a little bit for them about the fact that he may have played his last game in the NFL. Like, this is, I don't know what to do with this, what comes of it or whatever, but there's a chance that he never touches the field ever again, at least not with the Cleveland Browns, despite what the salary cap situation is and anything else. But in the end, he was a football player on the ground being booed due to injury. Now, I'll just say this. I observed a lot of the people on the internet who seemed somewhat dismissive of the fact that he was booed for obvious reasons, right? Notably being that Deshaun Watson nasty and all the things that come to people's feelings about his nasty. No one is going to be sympathetic toward him that is probably not watching the game. That's not going to happen. It was a much different case for the players that were in the game, and they had to go off and make this just a little bit weird. Sean, can we play Myles Garrett?
I said no one deserves that, and I hate using the word deserves. I'm usually pretty consistent saying earned. He hadn't earned it, and he doesn't deserve it. No, man does pretty much everything right. He's been a model citizen through college and most of the pros. He plays the game as hard as anyone I've seen. Puts everything on the line, willing to throw his body out there, and he plays the game at 100 miles per hour. And there's a risk in being injured, and he took that risk. But we have to be there for him as a team, as an organization. We can't look down on the guy because of any mistakes on the field or anything off the field. We don't have anything. We don't have any more high ground to look down on the guy.
I would like to think that you do have a little more high ground to look down on him. I would like to think that. Please don't I like the humility. I feel where you're coming from, but I would like to think that at least one of y'all does have the moral high ground to look down on Deshaun Watson just a touch. I would like to consider that. But I think cats get up there at the microphones and he's still on their team, right? No matter what you think about him and how you think his peers should deal with him, or whether you believe that people like Deshaun Watson, that there should be some policing of their behavior by their peers. I understand your argument there. I also understand why one would think that that's a bit of an unrealistic expectation. But I understand where people come from on that. But the dude is still on the team. And so as long as they are a team, nobody's going to get up to the microphone and in that moment throw that dude under the bus in the ways that I think a lot of people would like to happen. And certainly not after he suffered an injury that I'm sure terrifies all of them. They all know what it means when somebody tears an Achilles. So for the grace of God, there go I, whether I'm nasty or not. I understand if you're somebody like Myles Garrett and that's how you feel. But you ain't really, like, you ain't got to say that other stuff, right? Like, you know that as he was saying it, he was like, I don't know, man. Like, I'm going to say this right now, man, to my friends. If I ever get caught being nasty times 25, man, don't y'all feel like y'all got to come up here and ride for me, man. Like, not like that. You know, like, I'd appreciate it if y'all could, like, give me some grace and maybe still kick it with me, but you ain't got to go out there and make a fool of yourself on my behalf. That's not friendship. That's foolishness. And so he gets up there and he starts rattling it off, and I think it just feels like that's the kind of thing you're supposed to do in that place. But when he was like, he has been, a role model, did he say, for most of the time in the pros?
Yeah, he said a model citizen for most of the pros.
Yeah, like, honestly, bruh, at this point, it ain't even most if you want to do the math about the pros part. Like, at the very least, it's getting to be 50-50 on the timeline. It is just like, But let me explain to you how invested they were in trying to keep it going with Deshaun Watson. They went and got 2 black ups. One of them was Dorian Thomas Robinson? That's what the DTR is?
Yep.
Okay, so Dorian Thomas Robinson, he went to UCLA. He came in after Watson got hurt, and the reason he came in after Watson got hurt is that he was the backup, and apparently the Browns were trying so hard to not have the people ask for the black up. It was past just the backup, the black up, that the black up was actually on the emergency quarterback. That's who he was. He was the emergency quarterback. They didn't want y'all even thinking about going to the black up. But the black up came to the game, and the black up made himself available for media after the game. Ladies and gentlemen, Jameis Winston.
But the way I was raised, I will never pull on a man when he's down. But I will be the person to lift him up. And that, all of us have unique experiences. All of us have circumstances, conditions, and facts that we face every single day. And I pride myself in being a man of increase and being a man that wants the best out of everybody. I tell myself every morning, what I want for myself, I want for everyone. And I do not want the treatment that Deshaun Watson has received from these passionate fans. I know you love this game. When I first got here, I knew these were some amazing fans. But Deshaun was treated badly. And now he has to overcome another obstacle. So I'm going to support him. I'm going to lift him up. And I'm going to be there for him. Because I see the way he fights. I see the way that he works. And I know who he is as a person and as an NFL quarterback. And that's all I have to say to address him. I'm sending up my prayers. I already prayed for his leg, and I will continue.
I already prayed for his leg. Woo! Who was that? What his teammate said? Jameis called a play like he got a surprise. Like, if you're listening to this on audio, I suggest you go pull up that video, because if you can see the look on that dude's face with the sunglasses, not even sunglasses, they look like sunglasses. They glasses with no prescription in them, but it's some tint. They like them Chloe glasses. Anyway, if you had seen the intensity in his face. Now, of course, if there's anybody who don't get to judge you for being nasty, it's Jameis. He don't get to do that at all. And he actually does get on a good point about the way Watson is treated. People making the argument that, again, he deserves it, karma, ... Yeah, that's fair. But them people was not booing, the ones that was in that stadium in all likelihood were not booing him because of allegations of nastiness. They was booing him because he was sorry. And booing him under those circumstances because he's sorry is whack. Now, I'm sure that some of the people in the stadium were booing him because of the other stuff, right? But it is wild. It did go from before he was getting treated way too good in spite of the fact, then when he gets hurt, he got treated a little bit bad for reasons that didn't have nothing to do with the fact. That is, like, legit what happened. Now, they get Jameis. Good luck to all of y'all. The NFL is back in full swing, which means you could turn $10 into $1,000 in a single game watching your favorite teams only on Prize Picks. You can make a Prize Picks lineup in as little as 60 seconds. Sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Quick withdrawals, easy gameplay, and an enormous selection of players and stat types are what make Prize Picks the #1 fantasy sports app. So make sure you go to prizepicks.com/Bomani and use code Bomani for a first deposit match up to $100. That's prizepicks.com/Bomani. Prize Picks, daily fantasy sports made easy.